Hello and welcome to the Mediocre Moms podcast. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Kate.
And we are your Mediocre Moms. We are here to talk about all things girlfriend related, not kid related. Well, somewhat kid related, but we are your girlfriends. We're here to be your friends. Talk about anything from, I don't know, everything.
Yeah. We definitely talk about being moms, but we're not like a parenting advice podcast.
Oh, heck no.
No.
We're barely figuring it out ourselves.
Yeah. And I mean, this is so catty, but I have such little interest in parenting advice from just other regular moms.
Yeah.
Experts, sure. I want advice. One of my favorite things I get from parenting podcasts are just those little perfect phrases.
Yeah.
You know, they just have in my back pocket, and then you just know the right thing to say. But that's not us. We're your friends.
Yeah, I know. We're your friends. We're not. No, I like to get the advice of how do you organize how do you organize your bedtime routine, or how do you what do you do with their toys or their school shit? That's what I'm interested in, not in how to parent my child.
No, I get kind of interested in how to deal with girly bullies, right? Because girls bully in a very specific way. I don't face too much of that now, but I worry about it. So I kind of that's the kind of thing I like to learn about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not us. Again.
No, it's not us.
We were going to talk about books today.
We are. I'm very excited. I just started, very late to the game, ACOTAR. Or, for those who don't know, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Favorite book series. I like those books more than Harry Potter. Those are my favorite books.
I am new to the series. I'm trying to squeeze in reading when I can. Even if it's just I have 5 minutes. I'm just going to sit down and read. Let's try to read a page. When it was a little bit warmer here in New Jersey, I would carry it with me to the bus stop, and there's a step, because my children get on the bus in front of an abandoned store, which is super fun. So there's a step to get into the store, and so when it was a little bit warmer, I would take my book with me, and I would sit down and I would read while I wait for the bus. Also, my armor, don't bother me unless you really have to, from the other parents, which sounds terrible.
Yeah, no, I totally,
So,
I like things like that too.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, so you are in the first book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. But then the second book is perfect. So
I
good.
looked at the second book.
You don't want the spoilers.
No. I looked at, I was looking at what the titles were, and that's what I knew.
Yeah, that's pretty generic.
And I was like, the second book is fucking massive.
You wish it was longer. You will wish it was longer. It's so good.
I think it's thicker than one of the Harry Potter books.
Yeah, the Court of Thorns and Roses. They have 3 books in the series, and there was some spin-offs. It's a really good series, but that author, Sarah Moss, I think.
Yeah.
I read a lot of her books because that's totally my jam. Fantasy, the smutty stuff in it. She's so good with the smutty writing.
Here's the thing for me. I've liked to read. Since having kids, it's been harder, but my genre has always been biographies. I was I really didn't like fiction, and then
you've always read the mainstream popular books that everyone's reading, which I'm always been a little jealous of because people talk about them, and then you have things to talk about. Whereas I'm excited you're in my world, the fantasy world.
There's an influencer I follow for one reason, but she's an avid reader. She's always talking about these smutty books, and she even has merch from a store. Shameless plug for them called Probably, at least the Instagram handle is called Probably Smut, and she has shirts that said Probably Fairy Smut, and I'm she's always talking about fairy smut, and I just don't fucking get it. And so,
I saw this,
and I was
go ahead.
I'm just curious. So I picked out 2 books that she mentioned. I actually sent her a message on Instagram. I was I think I want to try to start this. Where should I start? And she says ACOTAR. So because I'm so new to this fantasy genre, I legit Googled the acronym ACOTAR. It kept getting confused.
Sure. Why would you? It's just such a weird acronym. Yeah.
But I was but this is an ACOTAR. She told me ACOTAR, not A Court of Thorns and Roses, and whatever else I said. So it took me a hot minute to fucking figure that out, that lingo. And then I was oh, she means this is just an acronym.
It.
Yep.
Yes. I'm much more into fantasy, but I get some people just aren't. But for me, I love being in a new world. Yeah, I've read a bunch of other books. Her newest series, it's like sold as like contemporary fantasy, like modern world, but that like, and I was like, I don't want to, like, I like these fantasy worlds. I don't want them to be like in today's world, but actually like it's just basically the same, but like they have cell phones. It's like it's, yeah, and like I guess like sometimes they describe the clothing and they're wearing like normal clothing. Like otherwise, like I still really like the new series. I can't think of what it was called now, but it's like Crescent City, I think, something like that.
Yes, this lady's like read it, and she loves it. She raves about it. She loved Crescent City, so
yeah. And she has like a much older series, like a Throne of Glass or like Castle of Glass or something, and that's like a really long series, like a lot of books. So like if you're really loving Sarah Maas, like she has a back catalog you can go to. But I do think A Court of Thorns and Roses, having read a lot of Sarah Maas, loving her, like, and her writing and her characters, that's Court of Thorns and Roses is my favorite for sure. Yeah, because like it has a whole cast of really great characters, and like you really, really love them.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like I also, in the beginning of reading the book, I had to go on TikTok, and I was like, went TikTok and I searched like Akatar pronunciations so I could hear. Because like I know I'm pronouncing some of these names wrong, especially the main character. So
actually, I'm not sure. Is it? I would say Freya. Is that right?
According to TikTok, it's Feyre.
Feyre. Yeah. So this is something I'm really bad at. Mm-hmm. This is something I'm really bad at. Like I will be like in the middle of reading a book, and like have a hard time telling you the name of the characters because like I think I almost don't even pronounce it out loud. Like I'm just like almost like imprinting on the shape of the word. Like, I don't even know. I'm not even really pronouncing it in my head.
My husband thought I was nuts when I told him I like looked up the pronunciations, and I was like, okay, spell that. You know, I spelled like Feyre's name. Said, how would you pronounce that? And he said, I forget what he said, but I was like, no, you're very wrong. It's Feyre. And he goes, oh.
But I mean, like, so, like, if you're just reading, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I read several Harry Potter books before I had any idea how to say Hermione. But if you're talking about books with friends, then it matters. Yeah. You know, yeah. Like, and I think it's nice to talk about books with friends. A lot of the better books I've read, like including Sarah Maas, Allison got me onto because we both like fantasy. And we used to read some books kind of together, like sort of both starting and like one of us might go ahead.
Like a buddy read or something?
Like a book club, but just two people. Yeah. But I've been so bad at reading. Like a sequel came out to a book that we had both read before, and like she read it in like 3 days, and it was like months before I finished it. Because Peter and I, like, we go to bed really early, and I like falling asleep. Like we go to bed and he falls asleep, and I like falling asleep with him rather than staying up and reading. Yeah. So that's my readam time. Like since I go to bed at like a reasonable hour now, there's no other time that I read anymore. So still am reading, but unless Allison turns me on to like the better books, and then between that I read a lot of what is it called? The Amazon like free, but you pay for the subscription. What's it called? Kindle Unlimited. Okay. I read a lot of Kindle Unlimited books, and I would say Kindle Unlimited I would generally say is not worth it. Because the books, it's not all, you're thinking, oh, any book, that could pay for it. It's not. It's just a few books that are included. A lot of them are like $5 and under books. Yeah. And occasionally they bring in more like popular hit like books like into the mix temporarily. And lots of times when I see those, I'll check them out because you can have something like 10 books at a time, a fair amount at a time. Yeah. And like just leave them there because once I've downloaded it, it'll stay until I return it. Oh, so sometimes if I see like a really good book, like I think I read Good Omens like that, like the TV show from Netflix. It's a really good book too. And like I saw it on Kindle Unlimited and I like took it, and then months later I read it, and I don't know how long it stayed on Kindle Unlimited.
Brian and we started watching a TV show, and I promise I'm coming back to books. Mm-hmm. And it's very like interesting, and like the way it's scripted, like the feelings that you're getting about it, and they're kind of like, well, and then like we figured out, I think it was the second episode where we were watching the credits, it's like based on a book, and I'm like, this is I was like, first of all, I don't know how you would rate these feelings in a book. That sounds pretty, like, you know, like, kind of like a mind fuck a little bit. But then, and I was like, and I'm watching it going, I wish I read the book first, of course.
So the TV show I watched, I watched on Netflix Fate, the Winx saga, and it was like a nicely enough made show, but like I was watching it, I'm like, what is this based on? Like, it really felt like it was based on something. And like, I'm looking, is there a book? There must be books, like, but I can't find anything. And it's actually based on like a kid's show. Like, this was like an adult show, very much like an adult live action, fantasy kind of world show. And like, but the only like, I was like, the IP is definitely based on something, and like it's based on like a kid's cartoon show, Winx, like these little like cartoon fairies. Yeah, so you can just tell like this is based on something, and normally it's a book.
Oh yeah, I the reason I started to randomly like get into like, I was like, I have to try this genre, is I'm plugging another podcast. So I listened to I think it's called Tosh Show podcast from Daniel Tosh.
Oh, and I haven't heard that name in decades.
I know. But he, well, I like his podcast because he only interviews people he finds interesting. He does not interview celebrities. So like out the gate, he interviews his wife's gay gynecologist. That's in one of the episodes, he interviews a young author, a young adult author, Dana Claire, and she was talking about all the smut. I'm like, and like how good it is. I'm like, I have to fucking get into this.
But young adult, so like I said, most of the books I read are these like $2 books, and I think the stories are normally really good, but like you can tell they're not they're not edited at the same level as like a Sarah Moss novel is edited.
Yeah. Well,
and I think you're more likely to run into like a little plot hole or like an unrelatable thing, but they're really pretty good. Actually, I thought those authors are pretty good.
Yeah.
What was I going with this? Oh, and like some of them are like made for adults, and some of them are young adult, and the only difference is really the smut.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, that's what she was saying. She said her writing is a little more on the cleaner side. I believe she said she was going to enter into like super smutty, like in her next book or something. But she was saying how people just how much people love this genre. And apparently there's conventions. And I'm like, there's conventions. I'm sold on just that alone. And she goes, people will ask her to sign her book and draw like a penis ejaculating, like next to her name. Like,
wow.
I was like, this sounds like my people. So it's like, I have to get into this genre. So then I pick up back guitar. And I'm trying to squeeze it in. And I felt bad because I'm reading it. My kids are watching TV. And I'm reading. And my husband's trying to talk to me. And God bless him. Like, he just wants to tell me about his day. But I'm like,
Oh, I know. But so if you're reading, you're reading. Like, you can't talk and read. Like, it's... Yeah. Actually, I can't really do anything, like, and talk. Like, I can't, like, read TikTok and talk or anything. Yeah. Not TikTok, like, you know. Yeah. I get all my TikToks on Instagram a week later.
Yeah, that's how I roll. I only usually use TikTok if I'm like, I like this creator. I just want to consume more content, and I feel like it's faster, easier to search for them or through all their posts on TikTok than it is on Instagram.
Really, actually, I do. I mean, I post on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts, and I really should also make like a TikTok. I just I kind of just like right away I liked it, but I was like, this is really addicting. So are Instagram stories, YouTube Shorts, but like. Where I kind of backed away and tried to not go back because it's like, this is not good for me. This is like a dangerous thing. Yeah. It's like exactly what I don't want my kids doing. Like, like our kids are allowed some YouTube. There's some good stuff on YouTube, some really educational stuff. Oh, yeah. But like what I don't want them watching is like cat videos where it's just like seconds of entertainment and then again it changes. Like that's exactly what I don't want for their little brains. And like, but then I'm watching that kind of thing. Yeah. So
I don't know if I sent it to you or I sent it. What the fuck did I send it to? No, I sent it to Noelle. It was a cat video. It's a cat video and they crumpled up like they made like multiple paper crumples and inside each crumple was like options because the cat was choosing his pronouns. He was choosing his political party. He was choosing his sexual identity. and in his religion. So she wound up with
it's good that he can make his own choices.
A Jewish gay Democrat whose pronouns were he, him.
Yeah, there you go.
So are you reading anything right now?
Oh, so yeah, I'm reading these series again. It's like one of those Kindle Unlimited series.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a book I'm reading on, like another one of those Kindle Unlimited books that I think don't cost very much. It's like $4 full price. You know, where it's like Sarah Maas's books.
Yeah.
You're like, you know, if it's 4-book series and they're each like $15-20, like that's, you know, whereas like these, if you really consume them. So this by Lindsay Hall, and the first one is called The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic. It has a really pretty cover, if I could put it on the screen for those of you who are
that is
on the video. Cover. Yeah, and it's like a series, but they're disconnected. But they all take place in the same like town where everyone's magical, like a witch or a werewolf or something. Oh. But it is contemporary, which is normally not my thing. But these are nice. They're like, yeah, it's an easy read. It's a romance. No real smut, but definitely like they're adults. They're like going to bars and they're having sex outside. But it's not like super detailed, like yeah. Like the schmuck gets really detailed. It's just like that it happens. It happens in the story. You have to fill in your blanks about like, you know, exactly every
how
action.
it happened.
Yeah. And I'm just reading the third one now, and like they're a bit like cookie cutter. So it's really great. I was calling it a business book actually. Storytelling by Matthew Hicks, I think, and he talks a lot about like what makes a story. And like, and how, for example, like Jurassic Park is about a story of like the main character like not wanting kids, and then actually like having this change in himself where he does want to have kids, and he saves his relationship. And it just happens to be set with dinosaurs, but like the story is about that character and the change. Yeah. And it's, for example, like imagine a romance comedy, and it opens up, and this woman like has a fight loses her boyfriend and loses her job, and like something happens to her clothes all in like the opening scene. What do you think is going to be the end of the movie? Like, she's going to have a new romance that's even better. She's going to have a new job that's her dream job. Like, it's setting it up, like, and then, like, all these things are going to get resolved at the end. So it's a little bit formulaic like that. Like, they always, like, start with the breakup. And then she immediately meets this wonderful, rich, handsome man. And so then the third one, it's the same formula. But you know, different characters. And they do have good character, like, in-depth characters that have motivations and generally act with logic. That's probably my two things that I really kind of bother me. Like, is like when the characters like really not acting, like when they're really stretching like her motivations. Like, why is she doing these things that are gonna be bad for her? Like, or when they get kind of annoying and whiny.
I've stopped reading a very popular series because I couldn't stand the main character, and I stopped a popular book that was turned into a movie mid-book because I could not stand the character anymore. Yeah, like sometimes, like, they either get like whiny, like, or just like, sometimes even I feel like the author knows that they're not acting. Sorry, I shook my camera. I feel like the author knows that like they're not acting logically, and they add like a lot of like why they're doing this. And I guess everyone does things that are not logical, but when it's a book, it feels like it needs to make sense. It needs to have an element of logic. I stopped reading. The series I stopped reading was, everyone loved it, Grey. Oh, like 50 Shades of Grey? Yes. I never read it. I should read it. I read the first book, the like very last, and I'm in, and I already have the 2 other books waiting at home to like for me to attack. Mm-hmm. I get to the fucking last chapter of the book, and I see the way she's behaving, and it's like, you're a fucking idiot. I can't support you being an idiot. Yeah. I've stopped reading books a couple times, and I'm always like, should I just finish this book? Because it's not like, I just to be finished. I don't want to like abandon books, but sometimes it's like, no, you're not worth my time. But actually, we're always assuming we're starting with like strong female lead characters, especially in fantasy. Like all of this like female written, female lead schmut is kind of newish. Yeah, it's like I've been reading fantasy since like high school, I guess, or even maybe middle school, or more like high school. And like I read The Lord of the Rings, good series,
But like the movies really, really, really exaggerate the roles of all of the females in the book. In all 3 books, 4 if you count The Hobbit, there's never a scene where this test where a woman interacts with a woman and doesn't talk about a man. And like I think there's only like one small interaction like that where like one of the human women's like gives like some food to a child, and then like that's it. And in the movies, which really built up the females. Yeah. In like The Hobbit, I don't think like a single female even has a line in The Hobbit. Maybe. I'm trying to remember like some parts of where they in The Hobbit or were they in the Fellowship of the Ring, but like there's like no women at all. And something that like George R.R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones, like he gets credit for like having interesting female characters. In an interview, he was like, "Oh, I don't write female characters; I just write human characters. And my female characters are also human, and I think of them like human." And a lot of male fantasy authors are not really able to do that. Yeah. I also really liked like for older ones, like outside the smut newer genre. I think that's like a baby outside.
It sounds like your cat. It sounds like Stella.
It's not my cat, and I don't think it's my 6-year-old. It's definitely not my 9-year-old. I think it must be like a kid like outside. And I'm on the 4th story. I'm on the 4th floor, which in the U.S. would be a 5th floor. You start at 0. So it's like really impressive to like hear a kid screaming outside. Okay, so the Sword of Truth series. Okay. It was a lot. It was a prolific series as well. Like had like 20 books or something, a lot. And there's a guy, he's the main character, but his love interest is like a really strong female lead, like character, and almost a lead, like almost a co-lead. And I really like those books for that. Though, like you can tell after he'd published so many, been so successful, like his editors had less control of him, and there would be like multiple page like almost like a lecture the main character's giving, it's kind of preachy, like because he's talking about like individualism and like we should tell something important to the author. Yeah, like that book got dirty, like super dirty. Like there were these like sex slaves, and they were like the evil guys, lots of rape and all kinds of things. And they made it into a TV show. Guess what channel had that TV show?
Playboy.
ABC Family. So like they just kind of glossed over all of that, like
all the rape-ins and the
sex slaves. And like it only lasted like for 1 season, I think, but it was still a really like nice show. Like I went back and rewatched or something. Hold on, I just started hearing some noise. Did something just turn on behind you, or?
I can't turn it off. It's like the furnace or the heater.
Okay, it's pretty loud. Hopefully anyone's still listening.
It's in this thing right here, in that behind the door.
Okay, hopefully anyone who's listened this far is committed, and they'll stick it out with the...
Hopefully. Here, I'll put my mic a little bit closer so maybe you can hear me in my raspy voice over my
sexy raspy
furnace thing. I don't even know what it is. I just know I can't turn it off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, let's take a little tangent. Are you feeling okay? You do sound sick.
Yeah. I'm feeling okay. It's just like I have a tickle in my throat, but we gotta rally because Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, I want to do something. This is something. Looks like any new listeners. I live in Europe. I'm specifically Switzerland, but I've been in Europe since 2010, and
14 years.
So like Halloween, it's really like becoming more and more of a thing here. Santa Claus, actually, like, watch my voice, but some places like German, they have like Sammy Claus, and they're like, that's not Santa Claus, and it's like, okay, but it's really close. Like Santa, like because of movies and stuff, that's becoming more of a thing here. Like American culture, like just movie culture, like the biggest thing here is Black Friday. Black Friday is so huge here in Europe, and like I could tell like the Asian shopping online stuff that I do sometimes, it's big, huge there. Black Friday everywhere. But the one thing that has not left the U.S. and Canada at all is Thanksgiving. And it bothers me so much. Like you take Black Friday, but you don't take Thanksgiving.
And Thanksgiving is really, I mean, I know what the true meaning of Thanksgiving is, but it's really just about gratitude and sharing.
Yeah, that's what the true meaning. Yeah, sharing and gratitude.
A meal with your people you love.
I mean, I would say Thanksgiving is like it's it's Christmas without religion and gifts. And it's like, the best parts of Christmas. Like, not to be like anti-religious, but like I do believe like inclusivity, and so like, like, I'm always like
everyone in America celebrates Thanksgiving, like religion and national origin.
Yeah, it does nothing to do with
matter. Everyone does.
Yeah, so it's just about food and food traditions and seeing your family getting together. And actually in the U.S., Thanksgiving is a bigger travel day than Christmas, because at Christmas lots of times you're with your like nuclear family, but Thanksgiving you go a little farther to like grandma's house. So like it's a big day to see your family, and like it's like it's kind of just like the best parts of Christmas, and the rest of the world has no interest in that. Like Black Friday, like Halloween is getting there, like Christmas, like no one even like knows it's happening. It's like they've heard of it. Like how we've heard of like Mardi Gras. Like if you're not like in the like New Orleans kind of area, it's like something that you don't. But probably even less than we have Mardi Gras in the U.S. Like Canada is just like not a thing. Thanksgiving is just like not a thing here at all.
Yeah. I got to go on a side note, but my daughter, Hannah and I were talking about Thanksgiving, and it's coming up, and she goes, "Can we have carrots?" And I was like, "Well, let's go." I was like, let's leave Grammy a voice note, and we left my mom a voice note of Hannah saying, "Can we have carrots?" So my mom calls her back and is like, "Hannah, do you want carrots? How do you want them? Grammy will make them." And she goes, "Hannah, would you like to come sleep over at my house Wednesday night into Thursday?" And in my head, I'm like, "Yes, you would." What she says, she's fucking going.
Yeah.
And Hannah goes, "Yeah." And my mom's like, "Oh, you can bring your mommy, and we'll have so much fun." And then like a couple hours later, like 2 hours later, I get a text from my mom going, "I want," in caps, "you need to come." She goes, "Hannah can come too, but I need you." And I was like, I just got drafted into helping for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to, like, so I'm vegetarian, so like I would love to host a little Friendsgiving here and make it a little bit of a thing. I think people will get a kick out of it. But like, I do not trust myself to cook a turkey.
Oh God. No.
Also, it's a little work for me who's not going to eat it. Not so much selfish, but
it's people like I've never cooked a turkey either. I've hosted one major holiday one time, and that my mother-in-law didn't trust me, and she had to come over and kind of micromanage, like how everything, which was annoying on one hand, but like there's a whole backstory as to why this happened, and I'm not getting into it now. But it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of pressure.
Cooking a meal for even 6 people is like a lot of work. It takes planning and it's cooking. Even like a dinner party, like it takes a lot.
My grandmother has done it for years.
Yeah, my mom does it all the time.
She's 97. She's been doing it every year since before I was born. And she's now taking a step back at 97.
Sure. I think your mom's been helping for a couple years since they've been living together.
My mom and I have been going, like I would go in the years and try to sleep over, like I'm going to do this week, sleep over the night before, because I go the night before and I help prep everything, and I help work, and then you get up the next day and you're there and you're prepping, and like, and I would help until like the first person arrived, which was usually my uncle or my mom. If my grandmother was driving me nuts enough, I would.
You're talking about before your mom lived with your grandma, though, because they've lived together for.
They've lived together.
Since Paul went to college?
No. But no, before my mom lived there, I would go there the night before, and I would.
That makes sense.
Go and help, and so my grandmother's been doing it, and she was doing it at one point for close to 25 people at Thanksgiving, which is a lot of people. So she's now backing away, and I know she's not happy about it, having to let go of the reins, but like, I don't know how to cook a turkey. That's still on her. Yeah. Well, actually, it's on her to conduct me as to what to do and how to do it, when to do it. Like, she'll probably be doing that. I told her, I said I was excited. First year I was asked to bring something to Thanksgiving. I'm bringing my spinach and artichoke dip, which I love, and I've had compliments on, so I know people like it. And I said to her, the Acme is her grocery store of choice. It's like a couple blocks from her house. So when I told her I was coming, first of all, she goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ." I said, "Yeah, I'm coming." And then I said, "I'm going to stop at the Acme before I come, and I'm gonna grab like the stuff for my spinach artichoke dip. I just need a handful of ingredients. I know the rest of the seasonings and stuff is at her house. I don't need to, but I just need like a handful of stuff. And she got mad. She started yelling at me. She goes, "You are not here to make your dip. You are here to work, and that's what you're." And she ripped. I was like, "It's a dip, like you throw shit together."
Yeah. But I will. Agreeing a little bit with your grandmother, yeah. I think it is so rude to go to, especially a big party like Thanksgiving. Yeah. Maybe there's 20 people there, even if there's not 20 people there, and like with your dish that you're bringing, and expect like counter space, expect the oven. Yeah, I think that's so rude. To like come like a hostess who has everything planned out and timed. Her oven is not free. That hostess's oven is not free. If you show up with like, oh, I'm gonna like, can I cook this at some specific temperature? Like, no. Yeah. This is planned out like an orchestra.
I think
that's
well, that's exactly what I'm doing, because I need the oven. I'm gonna make it the night before, and then it has to go in the oven. But my grandma has 2 ovens. She doesn't have a double oven. She has 2 ovens. She has an upstairs oven and a downstairs oven.
Okay, I have a double oven here. It's my first double oven. Yeah.
The upstairs oven is always dedicated for the turkey. The downstairs oven is for sides, because the upstairs oven is closer to the kitchen table, and this way you're not carrying like,
oh my god, I'm carrying like a turkey upstairs.
Up as good for her. She's a split level, and so you have to go like, it's like 2 sets of like 2 sets of 6 stairs, so you're not carrying a turkey. Yeah.
Wait, this is the Italian side. Yeah, very classic Italian grandma thing to have a second kitchen.
Yes. Yeah, so the upstairs oven's always for the turkey, so my dip will be downstairs getting heated.
I think a really cool thing is like if you have like a nice dish to bring that goes in a crock pot, I think that's perfect, because you just bring your crock pot and then you plug it. Yeah, you just need an outlet then. Yeah, I think that's a good one. So also for like potlucks, I think like a crock pot potluck is perfect, because same thing, you can't all just show up at the host's house and expect to use the oven. Yep. My mom hosted Easter once for like 50 people, and her oven broke like that week. Oh my god. And she like did it, and like you wouldn't have even really noticed. Like she did a lot of things stovetop, a couple things microwave, but like strategically so. And she cooked for 50 people with no oven.
That's the Janet magic, man.
Yeah, Janet magic. She sets the bar high.
She does. She does. Yeah. No. When I did Christmas, I had it all planned out. And then my mother-in-law was like, "Mom, I'm going to come help." And I was like, we were making limited food. And by that, I mean, I wasn't going to go crazy with sides and shit. I was like, we're having a main, we're having like a couple sides, some bread, and we're done. Like, I'm not. I know. And I think I told other people just to bring desserts.
That's what my mom would always do, say bring desserts. Because then, like, we get lots of desserts, and we're big dessert people. Yeah. Like, you can't expect someone to show up late. It's not really a problem. And to bounce. And people bring things. You have to be really coordinated. Like, or you end up with like 3 things of sweet potatoes and and no regular potatoes. Yeah.
To bounce off your point though, like desserts usually don't need the oven.
Yeah, and most they need a refrigerator at most.
Yeah, or some fridge space. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but that's it.
Mostly they just go right like onto like a side table that like where all the desserts go, and I think that works really well. Assuming the host doesn't like need anything. I was at a party Sunday. Yeah. And it was potluck. We said what we were bringing because it wasn't that big of a party. Yeah. And the woman who was bringing the bread was like an hour late. And another woman had brought spreads. She had made like a spiced cream cheese and like a sun-dried tomato butter. Yeah. And like. And so at one point she left to go buy bread. It was like we're in town. There's bakeries nearby, and actually she came back from the bread, and then the woman was like there at the same time. But like if you're bringing the bread, you can't be an hour late to the party. No. Yeah. I'm pretty sure none of them listened. I'll talk about this. Like, I really, really like her. I don't mean to bad talk her. I think she's awesome, but like, it's like you can't be an hour late for bringing the bread. Well, I think even if she heard that, she would laugh. But this was a shower. It's her 3rd kid. We just went to like she's our friend. We just like had a little get together. And so we all gave money. We bought her a photo shoot. So just like one gift.
Oh, that's nice. That's a really nice gift.
Oh my god, I could go on about Okay, let me put a pin in that. Let me come back to that. Anyway, this was supposed to be a surprise thing. And the husband knew because he was going to have to watch the 2 existing kids when she came here. And the beans got spilled and she knew about it. Like, oh, okay. Like, and I'm figuring like she was talking about this date and he got stuck in a corner and he must have just said to him like, oh, yeah. This is how he actually spilled the beans. The 2 of them were at a different surprise party for a relative of his. Yeah. And he just says, unprompted, can't believe that he was able to keep this a surprise. I can't even keep your little shower a surprise. Oh, he just says that. Like unprompted, he just said it. Yeah. I thought he got like back to the corner because you can get kind of back to the corner, especially your spouse that like knows everything. It can be hard to lie and keep a secret. Like, no, he just said it.
When I had my baby shower, I was kept in the dark. I requested to know the date so I could be prepared. I said I want everything to be a surprise, but I want a little bit, like I want to know a little bit. Like there's a little control that I was requesting. Very little. And I remember like I told my mom who I wanted invited to I gave her names and addresses of everyone I wanted invited to my shower. And I remember calling my sister and I was like, and I said to her, I said, I'm really, really annoyed. I was like, my friends have not gotten invitations for the baby shower yet. And my sister goes, well, I'll tell you right now, if they don't have an invitation by now, they are not invited. And it turned out, I called her the day before the shower to say this to her. And, you know, what's my sister supposed to do? You know, like, she's not, but she's like, basically, like, it's not happening. And I just remember, like, Brian wanted to take me out, and he wanted to take me out to this really far. And my husband, God love him, does not plan shit. And I'm like, okay. And I just remember, like this could be my shower. So I remember, sending a picture of, like, dresses to my sister, like, which one should I wear? And, like, we got there, and I could tell he was acting weird. I'm like, this is totally my shower. Because we got to the restaurant, and Brian's like, we're here. And they're like, for what? And I was like, I had to, like, pretend to walk away. And, like, I was looking at other shit. Because he was like, I'm here with the guest of honor.
I was really happy after your bridal shower. They told you you were going to like a show in New York, so it was like I think that we actually fooled you. Yeah, which was impressive because we had to get you into like a hotel basement reception room, which is a little suspicious. But somehow you were like, "We're going to the bathroom or something here."
Well, my mother-in-law, so we were picking up her friend. You know.
Oh, okay.
My mother-in-law at the time was working at a book distribution company, and she said she was at this hotel for like for a convention. And I remember, like, she was walking ahead of me because she was like leading the way. My brother-in-law's ex at the time, she was also invited. She was in front of me, and my mother-in-law turns around and I'm dragging one of the luggage carts. And she goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, she's got luggage and like heavy books and stuff. She was just we need the cart." And she's like, "No, we don't." Actually,
the cart would be very handy.
I know.
But I'm really glad because they told you something nice. You were dressed nice.
Yes. Yeah.
And actually, our friend who just had the thing, which was like, I'm really glad I knew because like I look good, and I would have really hated to have been here like because it's like the last month of her pregnancy. She's at the very end of what you get like you only have a few things that still fit you at that point, and you're wearing them every day, so they're getting worn out like faster than you can think. For Fabienne, like her bridal shower, they told her she was seeing like a comedy show, so she was dressed like in shorts, like a t-shirt, and like. And at this point, now I'm 39, it doesn't seem like such a big deal. But I remember at the time being like, that would drive me so crazy if that was me, and I showed up in shorts for my own bridal shower. I was told I was going to someone else's bridal shower, and I carried in my own gift. Yeah, you would have known.
We were laughing at that. She's carrying her own gift in.
I mean, like, so kind of just before I went in, I think I saw somebody in the window, but like
probably me.
But same thing, like it's going to be soon. No, someone. It was. Oh, I know who it was. I won't say, but it was someone of my dad's family, and like this was a shower from my mom's family, and I was like, and also like I don't think I had like a different dress. I don't know why I had a dress I knew I wanted to wear at my shower when like it was going to be a surprise. Like I don't know why I had a dress. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to like have a dress picked out when it's going to be a surprise. But I wasn't wearing that dress. That was the only thing I was like,
my mother-in-law has a cousin and the cousin's sister or whatever, and they just kind of like remind me like how like my mom, and I feel like your mom too, would kind of function a little bit. Like when they had a surprise, I think they did it for two of the girls, because they're two sisters, and they each, like, the one has one girl, the other one has two girls. So, and they're all, like, you know, like, very close. So, like, they told the one girl her bridal shower, I forget where they told her she was going. Somewhere, like, not we should dressed up. So she walks in, we all yell surprise. The mom and the aunt whisk her out of the room. They already have a dress picked out for her, shoes picked out for her.
That's another
makeup.
option.
So, like, she comes out, boom, she's done up, you know, like.
Yeah, I think that's the other option. But I think having a good fake story is the easiest. Yeah, going to a bridal, that was perfect. The only thing about my dress I remembered is I was wearing, like, I mean, I was much younger, you know, that was 2013. It's kind of like, and the dress was, like, above the knee. So for me to be sitting and having people taking pictures of me, I was having to be very careful about how I was sitting. Whereas, like, the dress I had in my head was, like, just below the knee. So you have, like, a little easier to sit. Yeah. And have people take pictures of you sitting.
I remember sitting there and, like, they're like, here's your chair to, like, open presents. And I sat down and I remember that thought went through my head. And I'm like, oh, shit, I gotta make sure.
Oh, you remember seeing my dress practically at my hooch as well. Okay. It was really happening that. I feel like someone gave me a scarf or something to put on my lap at some point, because it was like.
I have to go through. I have pictures of my
see if I have, like, someone's scarf on my legs. I think I might, because it wasn't. I don't wear things so high. I don't have legs for it, to be honest. Like, but it was just like when once I sat, then it was a little.
At my new sister-in-law, at her bridal shower, she actually helped plan it, and I was like, I kind of asked her, like, politely. I was like, why? And she goes, my mom and I just have so much fun planning things together. Like, we're having a blast planning the wedding together. She goes, it just made sense that, like, this is something fun we could do together. I was like, well, that's really lovely.
Yeah. But the reason someone shouldn't plan their own shower is because the point of the shower is to shower someone with gifts. Yeah. So to say, hey, you're all going to come over and shower me with gifts, it's just all Even though it's silly, because it's like the mother or the best friend doing it, like. Unless it's like, whether it's a surprise or not, they normally know it's happening. They register.
And she. I want to ask her. I didn't know if I asked her if she watched the gifts fall off the. I know I did for both of my showers. I watched the gifts.
I didn't. I was good.
I was like, yes, we got this. We'll say my bridal shower. Somebody bought me a blender, and I never fucking got it. So I'm like, what happened to my blender? Did somebody accidentally buy it off the registry? Because
they're like, this looks like a really nice blender. I think I'm just going to keep this.
My maiden name my maiden name is actually a very, very common last name in the South. Because my dad is, like, originally from the Midwest in the South. Okay. And it's extremely common. And so I'm like, somebody could have put in. Yeah, could have been another.
Let's not say our maiden name.
Yeah, that's not saying. There could have been another Lisa, whatever.
Yeah, just in case it's your kid's, like, security question. Yeah. Someday it'll be your kid's security question, right? What's your mother's maiden name?
I know. And, like, it's like, what is all they knew, she was marrying a Brian, and, like, didn't know. Yeah. Like, so.
Yeah, Brian and Lisa are both pretty common names.
Yeah, so it's, like, very easy that happened. But yeah, I never got my fucking blender. I remember being upset.
So books.
Back to books. Back to our rant.
So actually, if I could suggest, like, a little turn.
Yes.
Are you reading chapter books with your kids yet?
I have.
Same.
I'm trying to get Abby to read it on her own. She's being a butthead. But I don't know. I'm wondering how to, like, encourage this more. Because I want to implement a policy that my former boss told me. That was like, that's pretty good. Which she told her kids, like, you know, they can stay up as late as they want if they're reading.
I've heard similar things. Like,
so I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I have to get her into reading.
Aurora's been reading more with Peter because they've been reading in German, because that's our new country's language, and she really has to learn German. We have read a couple chapter books, like, she found from the library.
Yeah.
Actually, today they had a bath. Normally they don't have baths together, but she had an orange bath bomb. So for that, like, fun, they were going to take a bath together again, because it was fun, bath bomb. Yeah. And I was just like, and I told them, like, you're going to be like Oompa Loompas, and I told them about Blanca, and they're like, oh yeah, let's read that book. And I was like, oh yeah, we should. I think, like, was that Roald Dahl? Like, Roald James and the Giant Peach, Willy Wonka. Those are really nice books. Like, those are probably good.
Yeah, the BFG. I always loved the BFG. How do you not like the BFG?
And And like I remember when she was like a newborn, being like so anxious to read Harry Potter with her.
Yeah.
But like now I'm almost like, oh, it's gonna be 7 books. It's gonna take forever. Just like, like 9 years of parenting have worn me out. Just,
yeah. Now I gotta
read like so much.
You could have knocked out like a book or two while you were pregnant with her, and then just picked up like book 3.
She wouldn't remember. Start from 3. Yeah. I think like honestly, like she loves magic so much. Like Harry Potter is gonna like break her heart that it's not real. Like, because it breaks adults' hearts that it's not real.
Well, the last book, that's gonna break her heart.
Oh well, after the 4 is where the first death happens, but you're not too emotionally invested with that character.
Yep.
But then from 5 on, like, big stuff. Actually, even 3.
Yeah.
No one dies, but like a promised life. Can I spoil Harry Potter at this point? I feel like I can spoil Harry Potter. Like number 3, when like he thinks he's gonna be able to live with his godfather, and his life is gonna change for the better, and it slips through his fingers. Like that's a lot. It's very similar to feeling like death, right? Like it's not just it's the loss of the future that you're mourning, right?
My biggest death in Harry Potter that got me was Dobby.
Oh, Hedwig.
Oh, yours was Hedwig. Mine was Dobby.
Yeah.
That poor little elf.
I know.
I just. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, the books mature with the characters, and
we've shown Abby some of the movies, and she.
I remember.
The movies, but
I read the first 3 almost all together. Like the first 3 had all been released when I started. And younger listeners, I don't think we have a lot of younger listeners. Like imagine when Harry Potter was like coming out.
Yeah.
And I think like the last one I read after I finished university. I think where I was at least. I think I was already in California, like at university at the time. Like so I. We grew up waiting for them to release, and
there's a lady on social media, and she films her reactions, and she read the Harry Potter series for the first time. And there's a video of her screaming about how Ron's rat Scabbers was, I forget the character's name.
Oh yeah, the bad guy.
And she was screaming about it, like how she couldn't believe it, and this whole time she goes, she's like, this was like such a boring one, and then all of a sudden like it's Scabbers, and she's Scabbers. I'll have to find her.
Yeah,
and, like,
actually, I thought 3 was not a boring one at all. 3 is really. It really like took it up a level.
Yeah.
Like I think 2 is a little boring. Like because it's this everything new is happening, and then like 2, I feel like that took a step down. But then 3. All these different pieces that had like the groundwork had been laid are coming together, and you're like making these connections. Oh, like your father was one of the guys that made that map that your friend's brother gave to you, and the pet is actually the guy who betrayed your. Like it's everything's just really coming. All these puzzle pieces are coming together. I like 3 a lot. Yeah.
I'll have to find. She's hysterical. She just films herself like crying, like at the end with Ian. It's just so. God,
I was crying just really recently about something. Oh, it was just like a YouTube video about like giving money to charity, and I'm just like, people dying. This happens.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, we're closing in an hour. We should probably wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had as much fun as we did, getting in some much needed like girl talk and grown up time. Subscribe to catch up with us again next month. This is a monthly podcast because that's the level of commitment that I'm certainly into. I think Lisa too. Don't worry about like clogging up your feed. If you do want more though, check out our past episodes. We've been doing this for exactly a year now. We started I think last November, and this is our November 2024 episode. And if you want to reach out to us with any questions, comments, anything at all, you can email us at hello@MediocreMomsCo.com, and we would just absolutely love to hear from you.
Yes, even just your random thoughts, unpopular opinions. We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take anything. So, bye.
Bye. Peekaboo says goodbye too.
Peekaboo says goodbye. All right.
She's very sad to see you go.